up, y'all? It's your girl, Chanel, the creator of Ministry.
And this is your girl, author Krys King. How y'all doing tonight?
What's up, y'all? We're dealing with trust after the betrayal. Sorry, guys, we had a little technical difficulty, so we're about 15 late going on air, but nevertheless, we're here, guys. So before we get started, we got a couple of announcements. First of all, y'all checking our theme song, SZA, Love the Lord. That's the theme song. Y'all like that? Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. So anyway, guys, first of all, we wanted to make the announcement that next week is the finale of Let's Talk Girl Talk for this season. And in November, we are transitioning, wait for this, drum roll. We are going to radio, guys, World Star Hit Radio. Yes. Starting the first week in November.
Same day, same time.
Yeah, so we'll be giving you guys more details on that as everything's begin to unveil, but we want to go ahead and give you guys a heads up. Sorry for hitting the camera. Give you a heads up that we are going to radio, guys. First week in November. So, Krys, what's up with this topic, though? Because, you know, you wanted to do this topic.
Oh, my goodness. Trust after the betrayal. And it's not just I wanted to do the topic. This is a topic that resonates with so many women and men, but we talk about women today.
Okay.
You know, and how do you move forward after the trust has been, you know, like, thrown in the garbage? Like, how do you move past it and still have a healthy and thriving relationship? And for me, this is so relatable because as a married woman, like me and my husband, we've both, you know, experienced mistakes and infidelity in the relationship. And for me, on his part, it wasn't a physical infidelity. It was emotional. And for me, an emotional cheating is way more hurtful and, you know, confusing than a physical. I would rather you just go out and screw some random girl. I think that would be easier. But when you have emotional connection,
does it make a difference?
No, it doesn't make a difference, but it's a different kind of hurt because you are emotionally attached to another woman in a way that you're only supposed to be with me.
Right.
So, I mean, that's hard.
So it was a full-blown relationship.
It wasn't a full-blown relationship, and girl, it was so painful for me because he was emotionally, you know, talking to her in ways like he's my best friend. Right. So you talking to her and confiding in her, why not me? And I think that's one of the reasons why we were able to move forward, because at first I was throwing stuff, I was cussing, I was doing all kinds of, I wanted to kill this man. You know, why? Who is this?
So paint the picture. Tell us what happened.
What had happened was, all right, we, like our first 3 years in the marriage was hard. Like it was very difficult. Thank God we got past that. But in the first 3 years, it was very hard for us. And one day, you know, I'm a snooper. I used to be a snooper. I have been delivered. But I was a snooper, and I was coming across these emails between him and this girl that was supposed to be his friend.
Right.
And he's saying things to her that he shouldn't have been saying. You know, I'm not going to put everything out there, but it was inappropriate. And I'm talking about, I thought they were having a physical relationship, but the more we, you know, after we got past the violence and all.
The violence
and all that.
You put your hands on them?
I tried to. I put objects on them. I threw objects. I throw objects. But yes, girl. So getting past that, we had to go through counseling and just learn how to communicate. And as women, we don't want to take responsibility for our part in it. And I'm not saying take responsibility as it's our fault that they went and cheated and done this or done that, but there was a reason why he felt like he had to go somewhere else to confide in another woman. And when you're able to confide in somebody else, you start to build, you know, a relationship that resembles love. It's not love, but it resembles love. And he let me know, like, listen, I wasn't able to he didn't trust me with his emotions. Like, he didn't know how I would act to it. So that was something I had to learn how to communicate with him and let him know I'm here for you and we can talk through whatever. You can share and confide in me.
How did you even get to a point where you guys could have a conversation though?
It was hard because I left. I did. I went home and, you know, and at that point, you know, I didn't cry. I didn't cry a lot because I had been through so much while we were just dating, you know, and I felt like I was all cried out. I guess my tear ducts all dried up.
So you guys were married by now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was in the first 2 years of our marriage.
Okay.
And it was hard.
So wait a minute, it went on for 2 years?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, no. Like in the beginning, I don't know how long.
He's still alive.
Yeah, okay. He's still. I don't know how long it was going on, but all I know is like I was like, listen, I need you to stop communicating with this girl.
Okay.
And like he'll say, okay, I did that, or whatever. But then it seemed like she would always pop up. You know what I'm saying? Like what is it? You know why? What is it about this? Do you want to be with her? Do you love her? What's going on?
And what did he say?
No, of course not. I mean, I think that's how I was able to get past it because he fought for me. He was letting me know what was going on within him. You see what I'm saying? Because
what did he say? We want to know. What was going on within him?
I just told you he felt like he couldn't communicate with me, and she was someone that he could talk to.
But what could he communicate with you about?
Anything. Like just.
So was you confrontational?
No, random conversation. Like sometimes I be in my own world. Sometimes I don't want to hear all the stuff that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that kind of made him feel some type of way.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's not good.
But it's better now. Listen, we working on 7 years now, and I tell you, these last couple of years have been the best ever because we have learned how to communicate. And when I say trust, I trust him not to make the same mistakes, but I never give. He doesn't have 100% of my trust, and he never have 100% of my trust again. But he got a good 90% because 10% of me is always going to be in the back of my mind. Okay, I don't snoop through his phone, you know what I'm saying? I don't do that because I had got to the point where I had put a tracking thing on his phone.
She put a tracking thing?
Yes, one of them little, you know how when he was in the shower, I put a little app on the phone so it connects to my phone and I can see where he going and where he going and how long.
Did you ever catch him doing that?
Huh? No, but he found that, I guess it messed up your phone, but he realized, that he had something was on his phone, and he found the tracking thing on there. Oh, he was so upset. But that's how far I had got to where I didn't trust him, and it was to the point where I didn't want to live like that anymore. How could I love you? We have kids together, you know, and I think that's a big part that women, especially women who's in a relationship that have kids, they don't want to leave that relationship because of the children. But if you're not happy, I say go. And I filed papers and everything. I was on my way out, and then I talked to my pastor, and because I'm thinking divorce is a sin. You know, I don't want to go to hell because I got a divorce.
Right.
But he gave me some understanding on that. Like, it's not a sin to get a divorce, especially if infidelity is involved. But I figured that he was worth fighting for, and I didn't want to give my man to some other woman either.
Right.
Like, I wanted to fight for my man, and we had to regain that trust, and he's been doing everything in his power since then to show me that, you know, I'm the only one, and, you know, doing things to gain trust.
So let me ask you this, because you said something that stuck out to me, and you said you didn't want to give your man to another woman, and I have been asked this question before during an interview, whether I would break up. I'm not married, so I'm going to speak from the single perspective. So whether I would break up with my man if I found him cheating. And the answer is absolutely not. Now, I am going to make his life a living hell. Right. But I think the other woman, that's exactly what she wants. She wants you to walk away.
She wants you, but it all depends. I wouldn't say absolutely not, because it depends on the extreme
now
of it
if
all.
he's not fighting for the situation, like
Right.
your husband was fighting and he was more so gloating and boastful, absolutely he can go.
Yeah.
Because that means he doesn't really want to be in the relationship.
Right.
But if he's fighting for the relationship, because some people say absolutely not, I'm not going to leave. I mean, I'm going to leave if he cheats, regardless of whether he's fighting or not.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, women are so cunning nowadays, and women have no regard. You know, for people just in general nowadays don't have regard for other people, for other human beings in general. So, like, no, I'm not gonna leave my man, but I'm gonna make his life a living hell. So I'm assuming you made his life a living hell. How long did that go on?
Absolutely, and I had to get to the point where it went on for a while. It went on for a while, but I had
because of trust,
right?
like,
And the trust it eats at you, and that's all you think about.
Right.
And
You consume with
it's
it.
so hard. And then men be like, "Okay, if you forgive me, stop throwing it up in my face." Well, we forgive, but we don't forget.
Right. See,
So-
that's the thing. Men, in their minds, it's like once they have a conversation about it, they're done.
They're done, but it's
They don't,
not
but
that
not
easy.
with us, because we can't let go, especially when you've betrayed or you haven't been honest or you've cheated. Well, that's betrayal. When you cheat, it's like, because for the men, we internalize this. We take it personal. We think it's something wrong with us. The first question that we think is, what's wrong with us, or what didn't I do right? You know, we want to know if she looks better than us, or what's so significant about her that you felt like you needed to be with her and you stepped out on me.
Right.
Like, and then we start, I mean, for me, I've been in a situation like that where I looked at the woman's, first of all, it was always, what does she look like?
Oh yeah, and they always ugly. Oh
They
my God,
more times
Lord.
than none, they are not as cute. So I learned real quick that it's not necessarily, that's why when you're meeting, just like in general, like, you know, we put so much emphasis in how we look when we meet men, but it's really about the content of a person's character.
Right.
Because looks only last for 5 minutes.
Right.
And then it's like, what else do you have going on? But when you're cheated on, you think about, what does that person look like? Or for me, in the situation that I encountered, it was like, what does she look like? What does she do for a living? You know, what's so great about her? You know, what about her is it that you like that I'm not giving to you? You know, I mean, this was years ago. I haven't been cheated on in over a decade, but
it causes major
rough.
insecurities. And then, like, you get to a point, this was, like, I've been cheated on, like, I don't know how many times in my dating. Not in my marriage, but in my dating. It's like, I got to the point where I do tit for tat. You cheat on me, I'm cheating on you.
See?
You know what I'm saying? And then, like, but when you get older, it's kind of difficult. Like, I could have, when I went through what I went through, I could have been like, listen, men come after me all the time. So I could have easily, you know what I'm saying?
But they don't be caring about that. Because you can throw that up in a man's face, but they don't, like that's not going to stop them from doing, you know, what they're doing.
But I couldn't do that, though. Like, my spirit just won't let me do that. So I don't understand it. I don't understand the difference between how a man's mind works and a woman's mind works.
Right, I don't absolutely understand it. I think when I was dating, because I don't really date a whole lot, but when I was really dating, it was years ago. I think every man that I've ever truly cared about has cheated.
Yeah.
On me. Every single one. I can't think of one man that I've dated that I actually cared something about that he didn't cheat. And I don't know if it was because of the type of men that I chose. I know a lot of times I would choose the men that were emotionally unavailable to me. Like, they just couldn't be monogamous. They had to be with several different women. It was just the nature of, a lot of it had to do with who they were or what they did for a living. And it just came with the territory. And so I endured a lot of betrayal, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain.
And you get to the point, like, when is it my turn to just be happy and have somebody that's just into me?
Right. And it damages you, because then you lose a piece of yourself in every situation. And then next thing you know, you're operating out of dysfunction. And even when they're not doing something wrong, you find yourself accusing them of doing something wrong. I remember
it drives you crazy.
It drives you crazy. I remember this one situation. I had met this gentleman, and he went to college. We were both in college, but he went to a different school than I did. But he liked me, and he came up to my school, and he played basketball for the college that he went to, but he was up at my school shooting around. And so we were all getting ready to leave the gym. And so it was like he initiated saying that, you know, well, I'm getting ready to leave. But he just assumed that I was going to go with him. But I thought he was like just going to leave me and be like, not acknowledge or say anything to me. And I automatically just went in on him because I thought he was leaving me. But he was like, Chanel, I thought you were going with me when I said I was getting ready to leave. But I was so insecure at that point, and I had gone through so much and was so used to men just being dismissive and not having any type of care that I just went to the worst, and it ruined our friendship. Yeah. Like, cheating, guys, it damages you. I mean, I think for me, my situation, like just not one situation, but just me in general, my emotional and mental health was so damaged to the extent that I took 8 years off. That's how I began that whole 8-year of celibacy thing, because I was trying to do the work and deal with the personal dysfunction. Because
but do you think since you went through that you're gonna be able to trust differently in the next? Because I don't think you could ever.
I think for me, I think that I have healed, but I still have a memory, because I don't care what work you do, you have a memory. Yes. And the moment that certain behaviors remind you of something that happened to you in the past, those antennas come up. Yep. So I would say that my heart is healed, but I still have a memory. So when I date now, the little times that I do, and I notice something, automatically those antennas go up, and I'm like, what is he up to, and what's that about, and what does that really mean? And then, you know, I feel those insecurities that I'm so familiar with from the past. They creep up on me, and then I have to learn how to kind of deal with it. I think the difference between me now and me then is that I think. Yeah. Years ago, when I was in those situations, I didn't think. I would just react, reactionary. And that's something that we just dealt with at the ministry. You know, how not to be reactionary. And I think for me now, because I know my self-worth, you know, those years before, I didn't even know who I was as an individual or my purpose. I agree. I think or anything. That way too. You know, so when you don't know who you are, then, you know, you don't know your self-worth, you know, and you think this is I used to have this thought process that it was nobody better than this person. Like, I'm never going to meet anybody better than him. So I felt like I had to fight for him. Whereas now, I mean, I've lived long enough to know that there's always someone else better. There's never not been a time that I haven't connected with someone who wasn't better. Right. You know what I'm saying? When I finally really settled down and said, you know, I'm going to date this guy, he was always better. So, ladies, it's always better. Yeah, always. So, yeah, so you still carry the residue. Yeah, you do. And I find myself, like, especially if he becomes distant, what I feel is distant, then I'll be like, what's going on? And then you have to keep yourself from, you have to have faith in where you are and the relationship and who you are and your worth. Right. And so that keeps me from grabbing the phone or, like, you know what I'm saying, asking all these random questions and stuff. And also, I want to share for the ladies that are single, because tonight it's a little bit different. Let's Talk Girl Talk, because you have the perspective of the married woman, and then you have the perspective of the single woman. One of the things, guys, I'm learning to embrace, and I'm actually doing it now, is not necessarily dating multiple men, but talking to multiple men. That's the same thing. Now, I'm talking to several people. Now, I haven't gone out on any dates with anybody. Okay, I haven't gone out on any dates, but I am communicating with multiple people. And I find that if one person disappoints me, you have a fallback. I have a fallback. I always have a contingency plan, ladies. Fallback plan. Fallback. And I like it. And I find that it gives you more. You have your options, and you can pick what you like and what you don't like. Yep. And I even have like a contender type deal. Like, they competing. Yeah. Competing for my attention.
And we have a question here that I think is really good. So when it comes to trust, why is it easy to give your trust Why is it so easy to give your trust, and do you ever trust again on the same level? I want to know that too. It's so easy to give your trust. I mean, you shouldn't go in looking at people with a side eye, but we give our trust away so easily, and then when it's broken, it's kind of like, I feel stupid if I give my trust and then somebody disappoints me. So it's like, do you go in guarded, or do you go in giving them the benefit of the doubt?
I go in giving them the benefit of the doubt, but I keep my eyes open. So what I try not to do, this is something I used to do when I was a little bit younger, is I try not to be oblivious to the red flags.
Right.
Like, this is something new for me. Like, if I see something that I know because sometimes we tell ourselves, nah, you know, they're just busy, you know, but you've seen that before. So if I see something that I recognize, I note it.
Right.
If it's not that bad, then I'm like, hey, you know, it is what it is.
But we can't assume that all men are the same and they act the
That's
same.
why I note it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, usually men who are not being honest, there's a pattern.
Yeah.
They don't do it just one time. So you note it. You pay attention. Don't be so oblivious. Don't turn your head to stuff. Like, pay attention. You don't have to address everything, but pay attention. And also, one of the things that I'm learning is that I don't have to date you if I don't like how you treat me.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I felt like, well, this is who he is. I can't change him. And so I'm just going to try to get along with them until I just can't deal anymore. No, if I don't like how you treat me, I'm not going to waste my time with you. I'm not going to spend time with you.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, you can call me, and if I feel like hanging out with you, I will. But if not, then I'm not going to hang out with you. And I'm going to talk to the person that's treating me the way that I believe I should be treated.
Absolutely.
You know.
Definitely. I wouldn't say, if you're not happy in a situation, and I at least say try to make it work. But if you're trying and it's not working, deuces. You don't waste your time.
And also, I learned just this past Saturday at Ministry that when you meet someone, because all of these people I just met, nobody's like, except for one I've known for years. But I'm learning how to speak up and say what my intent is. That's something that I've always had difficulty doing, because I didn't want to turn a man off by my desire to want to be in relationship. And so now I was just taught on this past Saturday by a man that it's okay to say, hey, I want to get to know you better. Hey, I would like to be in a relationship, and I would like to get to know you better. You know, rather than telling them, oh, we're just friends, or because he said that if you tell a man that you guys are just friends, he said that's all you'll ever be, is a friend. So if you know you want more, he said state your intentions up front. It's okay. He said be you. Be you. And then that way you can avoid the heartbreak, and then you can avoid the betrayal. You won't feel like you're being betrayed, because now that man has a certain expectation, so he knows that you're looking for a relationship, so he can't come back and say, when you find out that he's cheating or either dating someone else or, you know, doing something that you don't necessarily approve of, you could say, well, I had this conversation with you, so you knew what my expectations were, you know, and you still chose to take this route. So now I'm going to have to part ways with you. Yeah. And you won't feel so guilty about it. But a lot of times I know I beat myself up when things don't work out my way because I haven't set the right expectation with that man. I've had a man say to me, he equated I always go back to this guy. He's just like my poster child when it comes to issues. But I had a man tell me that I had no right to be reactionary because we had not had sex. But I said, but we were getting to know each other, right? And I said that to him. We were getting to know each other. But I realized that's the first time I ever actually said those words to him. I just assumed you approached me, you wanted to get to know me, and I responded, I wanted to get to know you. I felt like that was understood. Yeah. But it wasn't understood. So when we encountered difficulty, or what I believe was betrayal in this particular instance, because I felt like he set me up for the okie doke, he equated the fact that we had not had sex to the reason as to why I should not have been upset about what happened. You know, so now I know I had to enter into these quote unquote friendships, or these you know, I don't know what you call them, but when you meet, you're getting to know someone, you have to set the expectation, and then you can avoid a lot of stuff on the back end.
Absolutely.
If you keep an open line of communication and kind of create the expectation of what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's the main ingredient is communication. Like without communication, we can't even discuss trust because we're not even.
Well, see, that's what Moments by Farrah. Hey, Farrah, this was my photographer at Ministry. She said, what's the best time in dating to start trusting? I think it's different for everyone, you know. I think you just like, because it's not one-sided, guys. This is a reciprocal process. Like, they're watching you just like you're watching them. And you can you have a spirit of discernment on the inside of you. You know when somebody's on the up and up. You kind of know that. So you kind of gauge, you know.
How they're moving and what they're doing. Because I go in guarded, and I'll go in guarded, and then if they keep showing me consistency, then, you know, my walls will start coming down, and I'll start trusting you more and more each time.
Right. Tammy says settle free. That's right. Hashtag settle free. So, yeah, so you just kind of figure out, you know, if this person is on the up and up. Like, I got a few guys, and there's some that I'm just not really, I'm like, okay, you on something else, and I don't really trust you like that.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. And then I have another friend who he's just like, you know, he's on the up and up. Like, he's just straight up. And I think that has a lot to do with where he's from. So, you know, us Northerners.
Anyway.
You know, us Northerners, we up front. We say what it is, you know, and we ain't gonna sugarcoat it one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna really sugarcoat it. You know, and I got a little bit of both. I'm a Northerner, but I'm a Southerner as well. I'm born out of North Carolina by way of New Jersey.
Hey.
Newark in the house. So, yeah.
All right, so I want to hear what the audience has to say. Guys, what are your views on trust, and what do you think the steps should be in gaining that trust back? What's the first step in regaining trust?
The first step in regaining trust. Let's see. We got to give them time to type.
I mean, after you decide that you're going to move past it, work it out, maybe that's the first step, deciding whether or not you're going to
work it out.
I
think that's true, because I think that if somebody betrays your trust, and if you guys are able to come together and have a conversation, and you guys decide together that you are going to try to work it out, then I think the both of you need to really stick to that agreement. Because a lot of times we'll say, okay, I forgive you, we're going to work through it, but then we'll fall back and we'll find ourselves, you know,
like throwing it up in there.
Yeah.
I was very guilty of that. And like I said, these past few years has been the best year. I guess they say the first 5 years of marriage are the difficult, but it was actually the first 3. The first 3 years, I was like, what in the hell did I sign up for? But now it's good. And when I say he's my best friend, I see, like, when we went through the counseling really helps, guys. Do not be afraid to go to counseling, because it does help you understand each other more.
Counseling is good for a man and a woman, because a lot of times when you have an emotional attachment to someone, it's hard to really be expressive
and hear what they're saying
and articulate. And because some of us, we struggle with pride and ego, so we have a hard time saying what we really feel. I just encountered this a couple days ago. Like, this person said, okay, you can't. I said, you know, I could talk. Because he was like, you can't talk. And I'm like, no, I could talk. I'm just having a difficult time being vulnerable in this moment.
Right.
So I think when you have somebody mediating who can kind of lead you in a particular direction, then not only can you hear, because then they won't allow the person to talk over you, and then you can fully express yourself, but then the other person will be more transparent in that moment and really say what's really going on. They'll say things they typically wouldn't just say to you if it was just the two of you in the room.
Right, and that's what we learned, because he would say something and I'll be so ready to get my point across. I wasn't hearing what he's saying. And the best thing that we both took out of counseling is let that person talk, and then when they respond, be like, so what I heard you say is, repeat what they said so they know that you heard them, and then give your point of view. And then that's how we started out, we able to communicate better. And him being able to go through counseling with me, because he's one of them guys, I ain't got time, I ain't nobody in my business, yada yada yada. So that was one of the reasons why I gave him my trust, because he was putting in the work.
Right. So basically what you're saying is you acknowledge what you've acknowledged what you've heard them say.
Right.
That's the third step.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So we have some comments on Instagram. I don't want to forget you guys. So we got
guys.
Boss Chick Craig. She says, let's see. She says she's walking away because if he cheats, he is not yours anyway. And then she's responding to a statement that we made, but let's see. And then she says, be patient with each other while trying to regain that trust with that person. Okay. No, that was by Farrah.
That was Farrah.
Yeah. So you got to be patient.
You got to be patient, but especially if you want it to work. Now, if you don't want it to work, then like a part of you want it to work, and then another part of you don't. So you kind of get conflicted. So you are vulnerable and you're trying, and then in the next minute, as women, we had those mood swings, and then we trying to kill them, and you know.
For the men, because it can only work if you have two people who are intentional about making it work. So for the men, if you guys could just be more sensitive, especially if you were the one who messed up,
right?
You know, because sometimes once they talk about it, they're done with it. But sometimes we need our position reaffirmed.
Right, absolutely.
We need to be reassured, reassured, and we need to be reaffirmed. We need to constantly be affirmed anyway in your life and where we stand and what our position is in your life. We need that. But sometimes it takes a little bit more than just having a conversation. But you got to reassure that woman that she is a priority in your life. It can't just be one conversation. But if you constantly do check-ins just to see how she's feeling, or ladies check in to see how he's feeling, I think you'll move through that process a lot quicker.
Right.
Rather than just being dismissive and like devaluing. You know, sometimes we tend to devalue certain situations, like, okay, I apologize, now move on. It's not that simple.
Right, and men need that too. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, you know, they need to be reaffirmed and reassured who they are and how much they mean to you and their position in your life, and that will avoid the betrayal that may be inevitable if, you know, they don't know their place, so they look for it somewhere else.
And also, if it's something that's not happening in your relationship, communication is important. My godmom said total disclosure, communication is key. And oddly enough, guys, I mean, I can speak to this topic not because I've never been married and I'm not in a relationship, but you know where I learned these principles from? In my relationship with God. Communication and transparency. Like just being totally real. Like in my relationship, because I have a real relationship with him. And so when I talk to him, I tell him exactly how I feel, right, wrong, or indifferent. And you should. You know, until I could get to the point where I'm at peace with the situation. And I find that when you tell your partner, when you tell your mate how you're really feeling, because sometimes we hold back because we don't want to seem vulnerable, or we think they're gonna think we crazy for feeling a certain type of way, or like say if something makes us jealous or insecure, we don't always want them to know we feel that way, so we hold that back. But no, you gotta tell them how you feel, you know, so that it can be acknowledged and addressed. Right. And I think that if you do that, then a lot of the things that we go through, we wouldn't go through. Our disposition won't be so weak. As women, we are told to hold your head up, you know what I'm saying, you are bad, you know what I'm saying, you got it going on, but we have insecurities. No. And you have to be upfront and okay with sharing those. You will be more at peace if you're transparent. Yeah. Like, I'm going to tell you, if you're looking for peace, once you get that off your chest, I don't care what the response is from them, but once you let them know, like I've been in situations where, say I really liked someone, and there were some things going on in between, you know, between us and our engagement and what we were experiencing. Once I let that person know how I really felt, regardless of whether it worked in my favor or not, I felt like a weight released off my shoulder. Like I'm like, I don't care what happens now. Because you were being honest with yourself. Right. I don't care what the outcome is. I've been honest with this person. They know how I feel. And so now I can move forward. It's up to them how they want to respond. You know, and based on how they respond, you'll know whether they're right for you or not.
Right. And we have a comment here. How do you come off not too demanding or aggressive about the importance of communication to the next potential person you want to date when your last interest betrayed you? So that's good. Like, how do you come off? How do you react when you're meeting someone new after you've been hurt? How do you come off not so bitter and scorned?
How do you come? Well, first of all, you come off not being demanding or aggressive. You got to heal up first.
Yeah,
you got to heal.
You got to heal. Don't just slap a Band-Aid on it.
You gotta take some time by yourself, because people say ain't nothing like getting over somebody by not having someone else. I don't necessarily agree, because you're gonna take those same insecurities into that next situation, especially if they do something that reminds you of what that other person did. So you gotta take time. I took 8 years, but that's because I had a lot of dysfunction. Like, I had years and years of junk that I had to dismantle and undo and untie and deal with. So I took 8 years. I don't recommend 8 years, but
I do know 8 years.
But I was serious about my healing, because you know why? I was having repeated unhealthy relationships and interaction with men, and it wasn't always their fault. So when you see yourself, you're the common denominator in that particular interaction. So you have to take time for yourself. And that's another thing, ladies, because it's not always the men's fault.
It's not. You have to hold be accountable for your actions and what you've done.
I'm not one of those that say, like, I will say, well, what did he do? But I'm not one of those that always blame the man, because for me and some of the situations that I've encountered, they have not always been the wrong one. Or they haven't been the only one that was wrong. Right. I've had my own part in it. I had to be accountable and responsible for, what I did.
My actions.
And so even when I took the 8 years off, I mean, not that I was completely and totally wrong in every interaction, but I had a lot to do with it. Because number one, I told you I didn't know my self-worth. Number one, I didn't know who I was, and so I was looking for it in a man. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to fill a void from someone who they probably had the same void, and that's why they were engaging in the type of activity that they were engaging in. So, you have to take that time off to really heal and do self-reflection and think about those situations that you've encountered that caused you hurt, and think about things that you could have done differently. Get the lessons, get the principle, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a repeated cycle. You're going to keep going through the same thing
over and over.
Same thing.
And see, what I've learned is I have my issue in my relationships is I have a hard time letting people in. And then I'll push you away, or I'll do things to kind of, keep that distance. So I'll find myself letting you in. That's why my husband is amazing, because he puts up with my mood swings. Because one minute I'm vulnerable, I'm letting you in, and then the next minute, once I feel myself being too soft, I kind of, lean back and put my guard back up. So it's kind of hard to know how I'm feeling when I'm
now. See, girl, I'm gonna have to say something now. There's no way I could be in a marriage and still have to have that guard. Like, I want to be so vulnerable.
No, I'm vulnerable, but listen, I'll tell you, you can ask my husband, like, he'll tell you, like, when things start to go good, I'll pick an argument, or I'll just,
So you'll do like self-sabotage.
And that's why he has so much patience. That's why patience is key, because I'll find myself, because I've been hurt so much, and I'm scared.
So have you taken out time to heal?
I have healed, but I haven't forgotten. Like, I don't want to go through that again. So I will, like, I won't be distant, but I'll go to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need my space sometimes, because I start doing all this thing. Oh my God, it's too good to be true right now. You know what I'm saying?
Even in a 7-year marriage?
Yes, sometimes it's like that. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. And that's why I love you, baby. Thank you, buddy.
But it had to be, for you guys to be married for as long as you have.
And I communicate. Now, at first, I'll just be distant. But now, I'll communicate and say, hey, I'm feeling this type
But it
of way.
had to be that good that you said I do.
Oh, yes.
So, when you say it's too good to be true, I'm like, how could it be? Because you said I do.
I don't know.
So, it had to be good over an extended period of time for you to say I do. Like, you had to get used to it being good in order to say I do.
Yes.
So it's not too good to be true.
But I'm saying it's I can't, maybe it's not too good to be true, but I get to where I'm just, when I get so happy and I'm just so in love and it's just so amazing, whenever I feel like that, girl, I get scared. I really do. I get scared. And then I'd be like, baby, I need some affection right now. I need to make sure, just tell me how much you love me.
So you have insecurities.
I have, absolutely, yes. I have insecurities.
Even after 7 years of marriage.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely, and I'm honest with
that.
But
this is good for the ladies that are married and maybe you feeling insecure, or maybe you're going through some things in your own marriage, or maybe you're trying to figure out why you feel a certain type of way.
Right, but don't. What I've learned in feeling this way, don't take it out on him, because he doesn't know. Men, they don't have a clue.
He's like, we married for 7 years. Right. You know I'm with you. I've been with you for 7 years. So
like,
why you feel insecure?
He's like, what is the issue? He really don't know. And I have to break, and I share that with him. And it's he's getting to know me better more and more, because we grow, every day. So it's, I have insecurities all the time.
Okay. I get that. I mean, but you know what? I'm a little bit differently. I have insecurities, absolutely, and I suffer from low self-esteem. But if a man is loving me right, I'm good. Like, I don't dip back. Like, if he loving me right, then I'm just as carefree, and I'm not as clingy, and I'm like, I'm gonna do your thing, and I'm gonna do my thing, and I dwell in that. Right. It's only when he starts showing me that he's not either into me like that, or there's been a disconnect, that I begin to say, I need that attention. Yeah. When I'm in something, because I ain't been in something so long, but I know me. But when things are good, then it's just like, I don't.
Yeah, you be in that moment. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he can overwhelm me with a time and affection, but as soon as he picked that football game over me, girl.
Oh, football game!
Yes.
Lord, she done said the football game, y'all.
I'll be like,
girl, you better sit beside him and watch that game.
But he watched all the games, college, high school, NFL. Like, I can't do that. Listen, I'll watch the Falcons. No. I'll watch the Cowboys, and that's about it. I can't watch all the other ones. So I'm like, damn, baby, another game? Really?
So I have a comment here. My godmom, she says, you have not healed if you're still reacting to issues that happened in the past.
Well, I feel like I'm healed, but I'm
not healed.
I am healed. I just
a football game.
What? I'm not. That's just an example. But I'm just saying, like, if he
picked a football game,
I mean, a whole day of football.
Yes, he's a man, and he's been every day with you. Y'all live together.
Yeah, but you gotta factor in quality time. He works every day, all day.
But he home though.
Huh?
He home. I can see if he won't home.
But I'm saying, if I got like one kiss all day.
What? Are you crazy?
Yes.
She crazy,
see,
y'all.
You don't know. I love my man, so I need my man.
If all I need is for him to be on the couch watching the football game. Even if I'm in the other room, it's okay.
But sometimes, yes. I'm not saying I need him to do this all the time, because like I said, I need my space, and he needs his space too. But you saying all you need is him to be on the couch. Now,
he has reassured me if he just watched a football game. You know why I guess I understand it? Because when I was a little bit younger, all I dated was athletes. So I understand that. So I'm like,
I don't mind the football game, because we do the fan duel together all the time. Like, when it comes
to sports, honey, they don't want to touch you, kiss you. You ain't nothing going down. Especially if they got a game or something, you can forget it. You might as well just go on, shop, or do something and leave them alone. Because it ain't.
Yeah, I get that, but it's different, especially when football season comes around.
Strip.
And then
she said strip.
Oh, honey, I do. Yes. I'll get in front of that TV in a hot second.
You gotta let that man have his football game.
He have his football game, but you're gonna have to give the high school or the college up. One of them gotta go. We just do NFL.
Are you serious? Football season ain't but for a few months.
I know, but when you so used to having all that love and affection before football season, then it's come to a screeching halt.
Girl, find you something to do that you like.
I do. That's why I'm with
What he do when you do? What he doing tonight while you here with me?
Watching football.
He probably so daggone happy. Like, damn, Chanel, thank you so much for getting home.
Look, he on here somewhere. Where you at, baby?
Hey, TK, we talk about you tonight. I I can't wait to see how I'm gonna be.
I can't wait to see how you gonna be either, because you're gonna be singing a
I
whole nother tune.
But y'all, you don't know, because
where is my married women at?
No,
Please,
I'm saying,
somebody.
like, I know that marriage is so different, but I'm just gonna be happy that he wanna be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of them stepchildren when it comes to dating.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just glad you're here. I don't need a whole lot. Just thank you for being here, because I swear I've been neglected so many years. Just as long as you sitting over there,
You can still be neglected while you in a relationship.
But I'm saying, I'm saying this in hopes that he's not really neglecting me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, with the understanding that he's there because he wants to be there, and I'm just grateful for that. Because honestly, I tell you guys, these last couple months I have been more busy than I have in my entire life. So just to have him there, maybe just cuddle.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need a whole lot. I don't require a whole lot. Just a little bit, not much.
Okay, so the moral of today's episode is
communication. You have to be intentional. Mm-hmm. Transparency is so important. Intimacy with your mate is so important. Vulnerability is so important. And listening is so
It's very important.
Yes.
And trust can be regained again. It all depends on how much you are willing to fight, and be patient with one another.
Right.
And if you're not willing to forgive and forget, then you know that relationship just wasn't for you. But there is definitely trust after the betrayal. Definitely love and security after the betrayal.
I absolutely agree. I mean, you know, I got a different spin than most women. Women say, you know, and I think some women, I'm sorry, they don't really mean what they say when they say, I'm gonna leave my man if he cheat. But I really do believe that if he's intentional, I know things happen. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know that we have those dry moments, you know, and then you have to work through those moments.
Yeah,
you know, rather than, I think you'll hurt more if you just walk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think if you walked away from someone who you truly love, you only hurting yourself.
Because you're always going to have that what if.
Especially if he's willing to work it out and he's intentional about trying to right his wrong, or she's intentional about trying to right her wrong. So
I think it's hard to not forgive someone that is fighting so hard for the forgiveness.
But some people are just hard-hearted like that. Some people hard-hearted now. I've been in situations where I have apologized profusely, and they won't even talk to me.
Well, see, yeah, it has to go both ways.
I've never seen nothing like that.
Both people have to be willing to fight.
Right. And I feel like, honestly, if a person is not willing to forgive you and you are apologetic and intentional, then they were just using it as their out anyway.
Right.
So don't take it personal. Don't internalize it. Don't think it's something that you did. They were already on their way out. So take it as a blessing, you know.
Right. I've enjoyed this conversation.
I
was a little nervous about being so open and candid, but hopefully,
because she need to be more open, right, y'all?
I do need to be, and that's been something I've been trying to work on. But hopefully, you know, I've resonated some and been relatable, and there's women out there that's been through what I've been through, understand. Please, I wish we could have got to all the comments, but
we have a few more minutes, and I actually see a few more comments, so I want to address those before we go. Just because she says, hold on 1 second. She said, my grandma, she's real active. She said, absolutely, he can be home and you still alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you talk to that a little bit?
Well, yes. I mean, you can feel alone, and it's not just a marriage. You can be in a committed relationship and still feel alone if you guys don't have, like you said, that intimacy, that communication. Then it's like you're just roommates, right. You know. And I felt like that before. I'd be like, TK, listen, I feel like we just roommates. You know, you gotta date each other. You gotta communicate. You gotta be best friends. We get so comfortable in the relationship that we're forgetting that you still need that love, time, and affection.
Right.
So you have to make time for each other. Just like we date night on Tuesday. Babe, you wanna go on a date? Yes. I was so happy, girl. He sent me that text message. He was like, you wanna go on a date? I was like, yes. I love those stuff like
so
that.
So the fact that y'all live in the same house, you still get excited when he say you want to go out on a date?
Yes, absolutely. It makes my day.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of like when I get good morning text.
Yes.
See, I don't require a lot.
Yeah, it's
I don't require a lot. I'm like a stepchild.
Men think women want these extravagant things and these extravagant dates or gifts or whatever, or these gestures. It's just the little things, that really makes us fall in love with you and want to be in your space. Right. And I guess that's why I want to be in his space all the time, because those little things build up to big things and I can't get enough.
Right. Well, I can't wait till I can't get enough.
You on your way, boo?
I'm on my way, y'all.
She is on her way.
I feel it in my bones.
I'm ready for a little Chanel to be running around here.
Woo, funny. We got a comment. Is apology not nothing but words unless action is put behind the words? Because once trust is broken, your ears are closed off to any words that come from a person's mouth.
Right. You have to walk what you're talking, okay? You just can't say something and expect us to eat it up and move on. You have to show intentions and,
Right.
Your words have to reflect your actions.
Right. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And before we log off, though, I wanted to... guys, something I want to start implementing in these Facebook Lives. Share the video. Share the video on your page. We want more and more people to know about Let's Talk Girl Talk. If you could share on your personal pages and also go to Let's Talk Girl Talk and like the page. Follow us on Instagram. We would be so very appreciative. And before we go, guys, you can find me, Chanel Nicole Scott, on all social media outlets at Chanel Nicole Scott.
Yes, and you can find me, your girl, Krys King, at Lovesick on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, LUVVSYC. Thank you guys so much for being a part. This is kind of like bittersweet because we're getting close to the end for our little break. But thank you guys.
It's only a 3-week break. We're good.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much.
You.
Your comments, your shares, your likes do mean so much to us.
We'll see you next week at 7, guys. Good night.